ups and downs. In childhood, I'd feel one emotion at a time. I felt pure joy when eating ice cream. I felt pure fear when I thought there was a ghost in my room. That's not how it feels anymore. Yet, I've been wishing and waiting for that moment where life feels like a complete bliss for the longest time. But even on the most memorable days, where milestones are achieved and life looks more like a dream, there are contrasting emotions coexisting in our internal environment. Up emotions, proudness, happiness, relief, and love are experienced along with down emotions, fear, anxiety, worry, confusion, even if it's the worry that this moment will end. Most days have an arrangement of mixed emotions, which may vary in tendency and intensity depending on the general state of our life. There's beauty in that. Incorporating this perspective can be of great help to have a life we're grateful for. Embrace the composition of up and down creatures interacting in your psychological universe. Hey guys, how are you? Today I bring you another challenge. A collector who owns 2 of my paintings told me that he had an epiphany and wanted to change his life and dedicate himself to music, and he wanted to do that with a guitar painted by me. I was both thrilled and terrified when he said this. I did the same thing with my life not too long ago, and I can't stress how happy I am with the decision. Even if I'm not even remotely successful yet, I rely on other things to pay the bills and so on. But also, he telling me that he wanted to start with something I made, it's so powerful and meaningful to me. So even though I've never painted a guitar and I had no idea how, I said yes. First, I had a technical challenge. How do I paint on this surface? How do I seal it? Can I do this with oils? Will it work anyway? I did some research and I didn't find anyone doing it with oils. But this is not an acoustic guitar, so the sound won't be affected. I paint on wood all the time. I'll treat the guitar as an eccentrically shaped canvas. So I gessoed it as usual, then I used oils to paint with no mediums, and then I varnished it with oil varnish. But instead of doing 1 coat as usual, I did 5 coats per side, so that it's extra protected, but also so that it has that very glossy electric guitar look. I think it worked. What do you think? At the moment I'm recording this, I haven't shipped it yet because I'm waiting for it to be fully dry, but I genuinely hope he loves it. The most challenging part was what to paint and how to make something meaningful and beautiful that would fit this shape. At first, I couldn't think of any composition that would look good. Landscapes, portraits, and surreal compositions wouldn't make sense. They'd get interrupted with all the edges and guitar stuff. I don't know how to call it, but I think you get what I mean. So I became highly tempted to make a pattern. That applies to any shape. Maybe a centangle or mandala pattern as I used to make, or perhaps a Renaissance scroll design. I've been obsessed with them for some time and it would be a great excuse to learn how to paint them. But nothing of this was meaningful. It was just problem solving. It didn't match him or what he's about to embark on either. It's been in my head this idea of understanding that life has lows and embracing them. Not to fear that this is the new way of life, but it's a rough patch instead. I guess I've been in an up or high for so long that I didn't see it that way. I didn't have the perspective to realize it. I had a lot of excuses not to see it that way. There was a pandemic, and I decided to move to New York by myself again. I had a million roommates in a little apartment. I had just a room to live, sleep, eat, work out, and paint. But intense things happened to me. I discovered I had a thyroid problem that needed a different approach than the one I've been taking for the past 14 years, and I couldn't find the right doctor. I lived on unemployment, etc. But most of the time, I felt good. I was so on a mission that I didn't have time for negative thoughts. I woke up at 4 a.m. and didn't stop hustling until I went to bed. I had given myself 1 year to try this being a full-time artist thing, and I wanted to make it work more than anything else. Then I decided to move to Florida. Everything seemed to look more like an up at this point. I was moving to a beautiful apartment where I'd have my studio. I was so grateful. The move and many things were stressful, but all for a more significant thing. Yet, not longer after I moved, my thyroid issue went to hell, and many horrible, weird things happened to me. I had panic attacks every day, couldn't sleep, and didn't have the energy to move. I was shaking, I got tinnitus, vertigo, fatigue, my face, arms, and legs would go numb, and I couldn't stop crying. I went to ER and lots of doctors. They all gave me different diagnoses. I started fearing something was wrong with my brain. I'm still waiting for an MRI result. All this alone in the new apartment that I had barely left in months. Everything I was striving for didn't make any sense anymore. I didn't paint almost at all during this time. Being broke and all of my problems were nothing now. I now wanted just one thing: to heal. Or at least to know that this is not how the rest of my life was going to look like, no matter how long it took to get out. Was it burnout? Maybe. I had a healthy lifestyle, an extreme one, but still. Now I'm striving for a more balanced approach. I'm feeling way better now. It's not all gone, and there are some moments better than others, but I can think of other things, get back to painting, and make this video. I'm still grateful for what I went through. It was very humbling and a great teacher, and now I feel thankful for everything. I understand the fragility of life now, and I don't want to spend it obsessed with a goal, running on a hamster wheel until my body shuts off. But more than anything, I get now that life has ups and downs, and that you need the downs to realize what the ups are and to feel grateful for the things that truly matter. If you don't have downs, it's hard to do this. The deeper your falls, the brightest life can look when on the surface again. When you do something so brave like what he's about to do, change your whole career, give up on safety and pursue a dream, a passion that can potentially help people, there will likely be downs since it's a hard path, no doubt. Yet, every milestone will taste sweeter than anything else ever had, and it makes it worth it. And that's how I came up with the idea for this painting. The ups, which here are the highest living things we know of in our world, galaxies, stars, the moon, and even UFOs, it exists in the same dark and unknown infinity as the downs. The under the ocean things, such as fishes, whales, jellyfish, and even a mermaid, because it's not about the analytical mind. You don't get to have an epiphany with a logical or rational outlook. And they all come together, ups and downs, to create the composition of life. Well, that's it from me. I hope this helps in some way, or it was a reminder, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. I sincerely appreciate it. Bye.